Hello and welcome. My name is Chris Gibbons. I'm going to be your instructor for the next 8 weeks in HCA 224 Healthcare Economics. I believe that economics is very fundamental to a lot of the behaviors that we exhibit on a daily basis. When you look at the things that you buy, where you work, the choices that you make, what kind of car you buy, where do you live, many of these things are driven by economics. And healthcare is no different. Whether you, and it's varies, especially now, what kind of care do you get? How much does it cost? Where is the availability of that care? Again, mostly driven, or a large part driven by economics and economic theory. So it's very important, I think, to have a good fundamental understanding of economics. And that's what we're going to do in this course. It's going to be a great overview of economic theory. You may have heard the terms micro or micro economics. We're going to be blending the two. One is kind of big picture and the other one is sort of small picture. We're going to be able to, again, blend the two so you have a nice overview of economic theory in general. But of course, we're going to be more looking through the lens of healthcare as we talk about this. But it's applicable to many things. So when you read about economics in the news, you'll be able to apply some of the things that you've learned in this class in healthcare economics to broader kind of national economic information as well. So again, I think this class is going to be very, very fundamental to your understanding of how and why things work. Why economics in the first place? Why do we even have it? Well, it comes down to limited resources. Whenever you have limited resources, you have to make decisions about how those resources are going to be distributed. How are they priced? Who gets what? And unfortunately, most of the things on this planet are limited resources, including healthcare. So economics can be a very valuable tool for administrators and managers and leadership, again, in healthcare to determine how best to utilize these limited resources to receive maximum utility for the population in general. So again, very important stuff when you look at it from a big picture, and of course from a small picture it means, does that individual, are they able to get the health care that they need, and is there a mechanism to provide that in a fashion that's equitable to society? So we'll be studying some of those issues as we go through the next 8 weeks. I'd like to go over some of the 10 basic things to remember, kind of keys for success in this course. And then also in a few minutes, we're going to do a syllabus walkthrough. So we're going to spend about the next 10 minutes or so going over a broad overview of this class and how to be successful in the course. The first one is get the textbook. Hopefully by now you do have the textbook. If you don't, let me know ASAP. Hopefully you've ordered it. If you haven't ordered it, please order it immediately with a quick ship. There is reading every week. It's not much, but you don't want to be behind. Let me know if there's any reason that you don't have the textbook right away, and we'll see what we can do for you. The next thing is to make sure that you read the chapters carefully. It is no mystery. I like to tell students straight, right up front, your quizzes are going to be driven primarily through the reading. Make sure you do a thorough reading. And of course, with all the quizzes that I do, they're open book. I know you have the book available to you. I want you to use the book. Now, the quizzes are going to be time limited, so you may not be able to look up every answer. Be prepared for that. But you may want to, as you're doing your careful reading, highlight key things. So if you do need to find something very quickly, maybe you have that with a little post-it or a dog ear or highlight that you can retrieve that information if you get stuck on a quiz or test or the final. So please read carefully. The other thing that you want to do is stay on top of assignment due dates. Sorry, hit the microphone there. Make sure you stay on top of assignment due dates. The syllabus, I try to do my best to make it clear when things are due. If something's not clear, let me know, and I'll be happy to clarify that for you. Last thing I want you to do is have any point reduction on something that is late, because there is a deduction of points that on assignments that are late. Now, let's talk about late assignments. I know that many of you, or all of you, have a lot on your plate. You're working a job, you have family obligations for most of you. There's a lot of things going on, and we're squeezing school into that as well. I understand that things happen. I understand that students spend all night in an emergency room with a sick child. If something should happen, please let me know. What happened? That I couldn't get this assignment turned in. I had to work a double shift at the hospital tonight, and I'm sorry. Just let me know. Communicate with me. It's when students don't communicate, then I don't know, and unfortunately that's when we kind of get in a situation where I can't really help them out. So communicate with me. Communicate with me should you feel that there's something that happened or prevented you from getting an assignment in on time. But I will say that for whatever reasons, try to work ahead. That way you don't put yourself in a bind where you have to make the paper or do the quiz on Sunday night. Because I know, like in my own life, invariably, if it's that Sunday night where I have to get something done, that's the night that the kids get sick or something happens and I'm unable to get to it. So if you can, try to work ahead. All right. Now, looking at my notes here, number 4, review your quizzes. Look, every week you're going to have a quiz. And again, no mystery here. Your final will be comprised of primarily, large majority of questions you've already seen on the quizzes. So make sure you do review your quizzes after you're done. You never know. There also can be questions that will pop up on a quiz from a previous quiz. So that's all can be fair game. But especially know that for the final, these questions have been something that the majority that you've seen before. So review your quizzes. The next one is check the course news often. I love using the course news. I use it 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week to put information in the course. It's kind of, as I see the course as kind of questions come up and the dynamic nature of the course, I use the course news to respond back to you. So please check the course news often. At least 3 times a week. Check it. Also, the course news is limited as far as how many news items fit on the what I'll call the front page of the course. I think we are limited to 5 news items. After that, those items, those other course news articles they don't disappear, but they're kind of archived off the main page. So you have to scroll all the way down to the bottom, and there is a little link that says Show Previous News Items. Click on that link to make sure you've seen everything on there, because something can be pretty important. Maybe I've changed a due date, maybe I've changed an assignment, and I'll put that in the course news. So please make sure you stay on top of that. The other one, next, I'm looking at my notes here, number 6, check your student email often. As you probably know, here at Mercy College, it's going to be a great way that you're going to learn about course updates. You're going to learn about program updates and also college information. So do check your college email often. If I have to communicate to you kind of on a one-on-one basis, I'm going to do it through the email. So, if there's a question about an assignment or maybe something's missing or whatnot, please do check your college email. All right, the next thing is number 7, use the virtual office. Remember that the virtual office is for questions of a general nature about the course. Nothing kind of private or, kind of particular to maybe a grade situation or maybe a private situation that you might have. That's where you want to contact me with email. But if you have like a general question that you think that, kind of the rule of thumb is, you think that this question would benefit the rest of the class, please use the virtual office. Also, when you go to the virtual office, you might see a question. Maybe it's, Chris, I can't find the link to such and such. If you see that and you're in the virtual office and you know the answer, please, by all means, feel free to answer it. I'm totally okay with students answering other students in the virtual office if you already know the answer, because you might get to it quicker than I do. I do check the virtual office every 24 hours, so you will get at least a response in that 24-hour cycle. So keep that in mind. Review the syllabus. We're going to do a walkthrough in just a minute, but please review the syllabus on your own. Make sure you have your own time management system, whatever you're doing to keep track of things. Again, review the syllabus. A lot of questions you may have are answered in there. Or if there's something unclear about the syllabus, of course, always ask me as well, but I try to make it as clear as possible. Okay, number 9. I alluded to it before, but if you are having any difficulties in this course, please contact me as soon as possible, sooner rather than later. When it's, occasionally I'll get a student who will try to, contact me in week 8, and they've been missing for a couple of weeks, and I find out, their grandmother died or something, something happened that prevented them from attending, regularly class over a couple of week period. But you're kind of contacting me in week 8. Sometimes my hands are tied as far as what we can do for you. So I do ask that any difficulties come up, please contact me sooner rather than later, and we'll see what we can do. And the last key of success in this course, of course there's many of them, but the last one is, again, go back to number 9. Contact me sooner rather than later if you have any difficulties in this course. Okay, excellent. All right, so those are some of the keys to be successful in this course, and we're going to go through the syllabus again and talk about some of the things that you'll need to do to pass the course and to pass the course with an A. I'm sure most of you want to pass it with an A. All right, so let's go over the syllabus. Okay, let's go through the syllabus and some major items in here. What I'd like to do is look at the course overview and the major assignments due, kind of go over those very briefly. Also, I would like you to make sure that you have printed the syllabus out. Do have a hard copy of the syllabus available for you. I always like to print one out when I'm taking a course, and put it right in my textbook, so I've always got that handy. I don't have to fire up my laptop to look at the PDF. The digital version, I have the hard copy available. So, again, I'd recommend that you do print this out. And remember, too, that the syllabus is subject to change. Just about every time we have maybe some minor adjustment to the syllabus as we're going through. So remember that this is not necessarily set in stone, but we're going to give it a good shot here. All right, so let's zoom in on this a little bit, make that a little bit more readable for you. Now, of course, contact information here, and you can find that all throughout the course, so there's plenty of ways to get in touch with me. Okay, let's talk about the course objectives. Basically, there's 5 major things that you're going to go away with at the end of this course. And the first one is to understand supply and demand of medical services. Again, that's supply and demand theory. You're going to have a good idea of what that is. 2, understand how health insurance influences that supply and demand. It is a unique spin on supply and demand and what it does to the market through the use of health insurance or the Affordable Care Act. Number 3, explore the economic assumptions that apply to the healthcare market. Again, you'll understand our theories of what is going on with the healthcare market. What's really interesting, I'll just stop right here quickly, is that we are in a very dynamic time as far as trying to understand the direction of the healthcare market. And quite frankly, there really aren't any clear understanding on which direction it's going to be going, again, in light of the Affordable Care Act. Okay, but we're going to look at our assumptions today as they apply to the healthcare market. Number 4, understand the difference between healthcare provided by a free market and healthcare provided by a government. So we'll look at understand the 2 extremes, and then you can understand where we fit on that spectrum between a free market and a completely government-controlled healthcare. And number 5, identify the role of government, and that should be on healthcare. So, should government have a role? What level of role should that be? And we're going to understand that role as it is right now, and you might be able to have your own beliefs as to what that role might be. Okay, so those are the 5 course objectives that you're going to go away with. That's what we really hope to accomplish here. All right, well, let's talk a little bit about the assignments that you'll be going through. And there's the grading, I guess, as I'm going through here. Got the course, all the points broken down for you on each assignment. But let's look at, I'm going to go to there we go, basic assignments.
Weekly discussions. Many of you who have already been taking courses with Mercy College, whether you're in the Healthcare Administration program, you might be in our Healthcare Administration minor, or you may be in our Medical Imaging program. Some of you folks are used to the weekly discussion. We'll be having one of those. Every week we'll have a discussion. Your main post will be due Wednesday, and your responses to your fellow students will be due on Friday. The reason for that is, rather than having it due by Sunday, is it gives one more round of optional responses. A lot of times students will go back and forth with their responses, and we like to give them a little extra time to do that. But remember, from your standpoint, in order to get all the points that you need, you got to have your primary response or your primary post by Wednesday, and then do your response to 2 other fellow students, usually by Friday. Now, this will be all spelled out within each module, but that's usually the way it is. You respond back to two other students. Weekly quiz. We'll have a weekly quiz. Again, multiple choice, matching essay, could be some short fill in the blank. We'll have one of those every week, again, driven from the reading and any media modules or video lectures that you might have for the week. So make sure you watch those. But I will say that the video lectures are also tied into the chapter readings. So please do both, and you should be just fine on the quizzes. Another weekly activity that you'll have is what we call a learning activity. These will typically be almost a short answer, about a paragraph long, 3 to 5 questions that you'll have. The one thing unique about the learning activity is that I've designed them within a quiz environment. Now, don't worry about trying to figure what that means. You'll see as soon as you do the activity kind of what it is. But for those of you that have been here at Mercy College and have been taking quizzes with us, you'll notice that it's basically a quiz that's open for 7 days. So most quizzes have a time frame, maybe 90 minutes, maybe an hour, maybe 30 minutes. Most quizzes have and tests have a limited time, and then the test times out and it closes automatically if you're not done. This case, the weekly learning activities, I basically have set it open to be 7-day time. So you go in there, you fill in your answers throughout the week, and then when you're all done, then you click submit. Please do not click submit until you are completely done with the learning activity. You can always save your answers as you're going along and go back into it. Just don't submit it, the final submission, because that kind of locks it down, and then you can't go back in and continue to work on it. What a lot of students do is they open up the learning activity, right-click or copy that information on the screen. You can then compose those answers if you wish in Word, and then post them back into the learning activity. Whichever way works for you. Some people just sit and do it all at one setting. Totally up to you. But just know that you have 7 days to do this, the learning activity, and it is in a quiz-like environment that's open for 7 days. Okay. Another thing that we're going to be doing right off the bat in weeks 1 and 2 is a course conference. Now, the course conference is a nice way. I like to do these just for us to touch base as in an interactive way rather than through chat boards, for us to really talk about the course, any questions you might have, any concerns that you might have over the next 8 weeks. These courses do go very, very fast. They're 8 weeks long, and kind of establishing that communication right up front really helps. So again, just spend about 5 to 10 minutes talking to me, and there'll be instructions on how to do that. We will be using a scheduler. I have a scheduler that I use. I do a lot of things here at the college, but one of the things that I do at the college is I do like webinars for the medical imaging program and also for the healthcare administration program. I'm going to be using one of my schedulers for medical imaging for this assignment. So you're going to click on this link. You're going to see a bunch of times for me being available, and you're just going to click on a time that you want to talk. and that will generate a series of responses, auto responses from my scheduler system. But just know it'll make sense. I mean, kind of once you see it. But don't get too hung up on the fact that it talks about a virtual open house. You're not going to a virtual open house. You are coming to this phone conference. But it's a great way for it gets scheduled automatically on my schedule, and then it sends you reminders, it sends me reminders. It's a great way to just keep me on track and you on track when we have our course conferences. And again, about 5 to 10 minutes, and we'll be doing this over the phone in weeks 1 and 2. And there's some points attached to it, so please do it. Here's another interesting thing that we're doing. We're going to be doing a Move Note presentation. And what you will be, basically it's like an oral presentation. You will make sure you have a webcam, and a good webcam, and also a good microphone. So if your microphone on your laptop isn't very good, which most of them are not, you may want to get a separate microphone. It runs about $10. Just to bring that mic a little bit closer to you and away from the laptop, the ones that are incorporated in the laptop. Now, I'm going to have 3 tutorials on this project that will walk you through the entire thing. So don't be too panicked about the technology. I got really in-depth tutorials. If you watch them, you'll be fine. Those that don't watch them, sometimes they're not so fine. And you'll be doing an oral presentation on you're going to choose a topic that's related to any area of your interest and healthcare economics. So, you'll submit that topic for approval to me. As long as it's related, you're fine. And you'll be doing a Move Note presentation on that. The Move Note will be, again, it'll be video. You'll be sharing this with the rest of the class. We'll be able to watch these presentations. So again, kind of a good way to get you, if you haven't used technology like this in the program at this point, we want to get you feeling comfortable with this type of presentation. When you reach your capstone class, for sure at the end, we do multiple Move Note presentations. Now, the technology may change in a couple of years or a year from now when you graduate. But what won't change is you'll be in front of a camera and you'll be basically talking to a laptop. So the skills that you learn for this will definitely help you throughout the entire program whenever you have one of these video presentations, basically what would be an oral presentation that you would do if we had a land-based class. These are captured. They're not live events, so don't worry. We don't have to be signed on at a particular time to watch these. But so that's the Move Note presentation. I've probably done 150 of these with students. We're probably approaching almost 200. And very few people have technical difficulties. The technical difficulties that we do have, we're usually able to work out. And especially those students who have done this in the past and you see their other Move Notes as they progress through the program are almost professional level by the time they get to capstone. So I think you'll have fun with this. That's my hope. Don't get stressed. Have fun. You'll also have a small paper, and this paper will focus on the economic impact of the Affordable Care Act. Only 3 pages, but I really want you to look into this, get a feel of it. And the good news is there's no right or wrong answer because no one really knows right now what's going to happen. I've heard you can find a ton of information on doom and gloom. You can find a ton of information that this is going to be the best thing in the world. You can structure the paper however you wish. No right or wrong answer, but do support your position. Okay. And then lastly, we'll have a final exam, a comprehensive final, and it will basically be questions that you've seen in all of your previous quizzes. Same format, shouldn't be any punches pulled or any surprises there. So that is what we have. It should be a relatively manageable schedule for you. The biggest thing is, I should say, the readings are relatively light. The readings are not too heavy. So, but do make sure you are on pace. Where students get into trouble is, like, say, For example, the Move Note presentation. If you, which is due in Module 5, if you wait until Module 5 to think about your Move Note presentation, that's where it gets stressful. So in some of the modules where it's lighter work and you're like thinking, geez, this wasn't too bad in Module 1, 2, 3, do yourself a favor. Make sure you're setting the foundations for those major assignments that are due kind of in the second half of the course. So you've got your Move Note presentation, your paper. Make sure those that you've laid the foundation, you've done some work in that in the lighter modules that we load up front in this course. So that leaves us to the course outline. Again, pretty standard course outline that you should normally see throughout your time here at the college. As we discussed, you have a learning activity, a quiz, and a discussion pretty much every week. So that's the normal pattern, and then with punctuated with these these major projects as we go along. All right, so excellent. So that is the syllabus in a nutshell. That wasn't meant to be a complete review of the syllabus, but please make sure you do print that and take some time to review it. If we have any changes, of course, I'll put that in the course news. As I said earlier, please check that course news frequently for updates. If we do change anything with the syllabus, I will usually post it there. Along with what I do is a week in review, a small 3 to 5 minute video where we talk about the previous week and the upcoming week. I will put information in there about any changes that we may have. So with that, again, congratulations, or welcome, I should say, to the course. And again, anything that comes up, please do not hesitate to contact me throughout your time here at Mercy College, or especially throughout the time in this course. Okay, excellent. Thank you for your attention on our syllabus walkthrough and course overview. And as always, thank you for watching.